What is the relationship between marketing and sales? If marketing and sales don't talk, all you're doing is burning money, generating leads that will never close. Most businesses treat marketing and sales either as completely separate departments competing or in some big pile of mush, and we can't distinguish between the two, which means prospects just dance around and we never close leads. By the end of this video, you're going to see how marketing and sales need to function as two distinct systems, but combined together with a proper handoff. Every year we take our team on a retreat and we go out, and this particular year was in Greenville, South Carolina. And if you know anything about Greenville, it's a city that is emerging. I actually did some high school time in Greenville, and during that time you didn't want to go downtown. It was in the early 90s and it's just kind of stayed away from downtown. Now you can't not go to downtown. It's totally magnetic. It's an amazing place. They've done a wonderful job upfitting the city and really leaning into what they do. When you're in Greenville, South Carolina, you kind of look around and go, what caused this boom? Well, there was a big major shift in the 90s, ironically, and what it was a little three-letter company called BMW. And they decided to move into town, and through their moving into town, there were a lot of other companies that moved into town, and it began to resurrect this sleepy little town in upstate South Carolina. Well, on our retreat, we took our team to the BMW manufacturing plant. While we were there, we got to see how all of this stuff worked. We got to see an assembly line right in front of us. It was a remarkable experience. I want you to think about marketing and sales almost as kind of this assembly line, because I think a lot of us think that as soon as marketing, a prospect, is passed off to sales, then marketing's done its job. And that's not the case. I want you to think marketing more like the actual assembly line. So sales is a function along that assembly line, but marketing goes from front to back. Marketing touches every phase of everything that we do. And so when you're actively selling somebody on becoming a customer, you're still marketing. You're still bringing that level of attraction to them. When you're fulfilling what it is that you promised to them, you're still marketing. And when you're administrating it, doing receivables and payables and collections and all of the other aspects of working with a customer, you're still marketing. That's why we don't want to get on a phone as an administrator with a customer and just be nonchalant about it. We want to engage. We want to be kind. We want to do all the things that our value set says we do, because marketing happens all throughout the customer relationship. Now, what I will say is, even though marketing happens all throughout, that's the thread that runs throughout the entire customer experience, marketing and sales do have a unique relationship that is a little bit segmented from operations and administration. In fact, I've got a great video for you to be able to understand the skeletal structure of a business so that you can see where marketing fits and where sales fits, and how it's two of the primary four systems that exist in a business. And so make sure you click on that link below and go watch as I lay out the four systems of a business and as they sit within what we call the four foundational cornerstones of a business. It's a powerful video for you. So a lot of times we get invited to come speak in different settings to different groups of people, and we'll often get asked, what's your ideal room look like? What's your ideal audience look like? And they're usually surprised to say, we would rather speak to a room of 20 and 30 than a room of 1,000. Not always, but we would rather speak to a room of 20 or 30 of the right people than 1,000 of the wrong people. So if you invited me to a homeschool convention, I wouldn't go speak. Why? It's because the people that are involved in homeschool teaching are not our primary audience. They're wonderful people. They're doing great work, but they're not our primary audience. Our primary audience is business owners that have businesses with less than 100 employees. So give me a room of 10 business owners over a room of 1,000 homeschool teachers. And we would take the room of 10 business owners because it directly aligns with our qualified prospects and who we're looking to go after. So if you were given a room of 10 people versus a room of 1,000 people, which room would you take if the 10 people were your qualified prospects? Who would those 10 people be? That's what marketing answers. All right, so if marketing is generating that room of those 10 people or 100 people or 50 people, then what sales does is sales naturally, notice I use that word naturally, don't be unnatural, don't be weird, naturally comes in and begins to engage in a conversation, moving those qualified prospects from just prospects into customers or clients to where we can serve. And we don't ever want to go after customers and clients just so what they can offer us. We want to go after that relationship because of what we can offer them. Ultimately, the value is what we can bring them. They just happen to bring us money or whatever the exchange is that you're going for with that customer. All right, when we look at this relationship between marketing and sales, we have to look at it this way too. Marketing has a focus going outbound. I want you to think back to the pandemic years, however far we are from that in your experience when you're watching this this video. And during that time, there were a lot of people in the construction space that instead of looking outbound to go find leads, they basically just sat behind a counter. We called it being bellied up at the bar of sales, and they just started taking orders. And then there came a time where that pandemic mindset began to land the plane or crash the plane in this instance. And what ended up happening is those people who were so used to just bellied up at the bar taking orders, they actually had to go outbound and try to generate prospects again. So when you think about marketing, I want you to have those eyes of what we call business development, going out, out, out. And when you go out, you're going to start to shake the bushes. You're going to start to agitate the things around you. And when you shake bushes, what happens? Leaves fall at that point. When you shake a tree, acorns fall. And so we want to actively begin shaking the things around us, but we want to do it in a way that's going to honor them. And it's going to honor the product that we're offering. So if marketing's focused on going out, then what sales focuses on is how can we take those people we met when we were out and start to bring them into what we're offering. So you can start to see the dichotomy between the two. So A, it's not sales and marketing, it's marketing and sales, and marketing is looking out and sales is looking to bring them in. Now, while we're selling and while we're serving through operations, we still need to have an outbound look through that entire experience. All right, so what we're prone to do is take marketing and kind of put it over here and take sales and put it over here. Now, there's another thing that happens that we see a lot, and we take marketing and sales and we don't do anything with them. But if you had a process for both, we kind of let them compete, and we don't want to do that. We want to have a proper handoff. So there's got to be a symbiotic relationship between the two, and there must be a relationship. They can't be competing, and they can't be so distinct that they don't merge together. And so we've got to have a proper handoff between marketing and between sales so that we can get them into a place where we can begin to serve them with our product offering. But when you allow these things to operate in silos, marketing's kind of doing its own, what you have is a lot of wasted ad spend. And when you allow sales to operate in a silo of its own, what you have are leads that don't convert very well because they weren't messaged very well in the marketing setup. So you get somebody that comes into the sales, if they weren't marketed well to, and you sit down with them, and all of a sudden when you begin to run through your sales script, they're shocked. They're unexpected around what's coming. And so we need to make sure that there's continuity between the marketing messaging and the sales script. And you need to have both for each discipline. So what is the messaging for marketing and what is the script for sales? I want to give you an example of what I'm talking about, and I'm going to give you insight into our business a little bit. So we have a sales script. We actually call it a compassionate conversion. We want to convert somebody in a compassionate way so that we can serve our mission to them. And it's 6 questions. And so I want you to think through a framework for yourself. Question number 1, tell me about your business. Question number 2, what do you want? Question number 3, what are the roadblocks keeping you from what you want? Question number 4, what would life look like 3 years from now if you did nothing different, just kept going the way you're going? Question number 5 is what are you willing to invest? Pause, not money, time. And we literally train on that, by the way, the pause. And then question number 6, what questions do you have for me? By the way, if you ever work with us, you're going to hear these questions because we're going to ask them. We're not asking them because they're on a script. We're asking them because we want to know. We want to hear what you have to say, and we want you to begin exploring. And so those questions put you, the prospect, in the driver's seat to be able to uncover the challenges that you're experiencing. So I just shared with you our script. What's your script? And what's that process for sales? And I want you to think about that with marketing as well. What's the messaging in marketing that comes up repetitively, predictably, and meaningfully? For us, we work with owners between 3 and 100 employees to build out their purpose, people, process, and profit so that you can be liberated from chaos to make time for what matters most. I just did that from memory. And so my question is, can you do that from memory? What's your marketing message that leads to your sales script? Another best practice I want to put in there for you is, I know this is going to blow your mind, a once weekly, 1 hour, agenda-driven marketing and sales meeting. Shocker, right? Well, the truth is most people either don't have them on a regular basis or you have them and all you do is gripe and complain and moan and whatever. No. We're going to put an end to that. Instead, we're going to have a 1 hour agenda. And that agenda, we're going to talk about the mission of what we're trying to accomplish. We're going to talk about marketing messaging, sales scripts, and then we're going to put numbers to it that we're going to begin to track. What are the numbers that are important to you to follow for marketing? And what are the numbers that are important for you to follow for sales? Listen, it's not rocket science. Just pick some numbers and start there. In a month, 2 months, you can change them if you don't like them. The bigger discipline is to have that once weekly, 1 hour, agenda-driven, leader-led meeting around marketing and sales so that you're paying attention to it. I had a mentor that used to tell me all the time, if you're not paying, you're not paying attention. So if you're not paying with your time for marketing and sales, then you're not paying attention to it. And if you're not paying attention to it, you're never going to see the relationship between the two, and you're always going to struggle getting new customers. Hey, there's another video that I've put in place for you to help you to understand how to find the right team to help you run this. So I want you to click on the link in the description below, and that link down there is going to walk you through this video where I walk you through the discipline of finding the right people so that you can begin to delegate marketing and sales and give you more time to think about the higher levels of the business. Why? We're doing all of this for one reason, and that's for you to be liberated from chaos to make time for the things that matter most.